This is the May 22nd, 2024 Community Preservation Meeting for the Town of Bridgewater. Members present are myself, Gina Gasconi, Chair, Carlton Hunt, Vice Chair, Jeff Merriman, Bill Smith, Pat Driscoll, and I think that's it. Oh, and Maureen Venetian. I'm sorry, there's something jumped over my screen for that. Okay, great. Meeting's called to order at 6:31. First item on the agenda is the chair's comments. I just have a couple things. They estimated for this year in excess of 223 where our income so far this year is 223,000 above what was estimated for our income. A good portion of that, we can see it when we look at the financial reports, was due to high interest rates this year. And that amount didn't include, that was as of April 30th. Taxes were due May 1st, so I'm sure that will be up. Again, a reminder to take a look at the CPA Coalition's website. Lots of information on that. And that's it for my comments. Any public comments? A few people here from the public. Okay, hearing none. We'll move on to, we have two sets of minutes to approve, March 27th and April 24th. Has everyone had a chance to read them?
I have, and I'll just remind if when someone was absent, they don't vote on it, they abstain.
Correct.
Oh, actually, Carlton, I checked in the Robert's rules, and if you weren't at the meeting, you can still vote. Your vote is the confidence in the minute taker, not in actually have attended.
Okay, thank you.
I checked with the attorney and everything. I've been trying to spread that around.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Thanks, Josh. Okay, let's start with the March 27th minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second. Someone?
Oh, second.
Anyone?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Jeff. Any discussion? Hearing none. We'll call a vote. Josh, roll call.
Gina,
Yes.
Carlton,
Yes.
Pat,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
Bill. Bill, you're muted.
Yes.
Jeff,
Yes.
thank you. The motion was approved.
Great, thank you. Moving on to the March 24th minutes. Motion to approve those.
So move.
Okay, can we have a second?
Second.
Okay, who is that?
Me. Second.
Okay, okay, good, thank you. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. Josh, roll call.
Gina,
Yes.
Carlton,
Yes.
Pat,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
Great, thank you. Moving right on to the financial statement. Josh, can you put that up, please?
Yes. Just a moment here.
Okay. Okay, as Josh is putting that up, we're in good shape. And as I mentioned, the interest amount, we earned $121,248 in interest for the year.
That's impressive.
Can you zoom it up a bit, increase the size? Thank you. That helps my poor blind eyes.
Good. And as I said, for the real estate surcharge, we're already 85,222 above what was projected. And again, that doesn't include tax money that came in on the due date of May 1st. So we're doing good. The next box, expense budget to actual, we have a few accounts that once we have the final report, we can close out. They'll stay, if they have money left, we have to vote to actually close and return the funds. If they're already zeroed out, they just stay on the books till the new fiscal year. They stay on our report. And one thing we've asked the finance director is, we've discussed it before, to put a column into that table that shows what the actual approved amount was. I myself would get mixed up on it, and Carlton would have to explain where it has their FY24 budget amount isn't always the total amount that was approved. So we've asked for a column in there to show what was approved. So that'll help us when reading it. Over, Josh, can you slide? Yep, it just shows what we have. The top yellow for any guess that we have is a total of everything that was in yellow on the box before. Then the rest is just what we have in those special pots. So altogether, we have just over $4 million.
Gina, can I jump
Sure.
in for a second?
Sure.
Yeah, so basically the yellow bar up there is appropriated money. If a project underspends, then it comes back into the bucket that was it came from. But you'll notice for FY24, this is 24, if you take the difference between the 4.037 million and the 2.5 million, we have about $1.5 million that we have not recommended for appropriation yet. If you break that down a little further, and this is just for FY23 or 24, if you break that down a little bit further, we have approximately roughly 800,000 in FY24 money that we could have available for a project now, if we so choose to spend the money that way. If you look at FY25, that 220,000 that's over on the left, that's a positive number. That money will come into the unappropriated, into the reserve buckets, that kind of thing. So we will increase our available funds for appropriation in FY25 by some significant amount. It could be $1 million from 800. It could be even higher than that. So just thinking ahead, as we move through projects, we've got a couple of big projects in front of us. As we move forward, it kind of depends how much we can contribute with CPA funds rather than bonding. It's going to depend a little bit on which fiscal year we work within. So that's just the main point I wanted to make. We will have more funds available in FY25 because of the positive increase in revenue. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for clarifying that, Carlton. I stand corrected. We don't have actually the $4 million. As Carlton said, it's less than the 2.5 million. So thank you for clarifying that. I stand corrected.
You're welcome.
Any questions on the financial report? Okay, good. Another month we'll have month and a half, we'll have the FY25 funds added in. Moving right on to old business, we have 2 applications that we've received. The Senior Center Community Garden, as you know, was sent back to them because a lot of things on it, weren't eligible for CPC. We left it that the Senior Center, Emily Williams, and hopefully a member of CPC would talk to the town attorney for his opinion of it. So far, we've heard nothing on that. Hanson's Farm, we had an application, I think it was last month and the month before, last month. And it didn't have the amount. Basically, negotiations were still going on. So hopefully we get the completed revised application showing prices and details.
Gina, ask a question, please.
Sure.
Do we have an update from the town manager? I think you had requested an update. Do we have an update on that project?
Yeah, sorry, I was actually gonna interrupt you there, Gina.
Okay.
I do have Michael's response to that. Did you want me to put it on the screen? It's got everything that you'd asked, but it doesn't look like it's in the correct order. I didn't want to distract with it.
Okay, you can just read it for now.
Okay, so for the Hanson's Farm update, he said the Hanson's attorney has not yet reached out to Jason. At this stage, the two attorneys are charged with working it out. If Jason needs input, we will convene the town manager, CPC chair, and open space chair. We are not sure when to expect the negotiation to finish. So it would be premature to say the full application could be presented at the June meeting. Tentatively, the Concom and Wildlands Trust will hold the restriction, but this will depend on the terms of the restriction.
Great. Any questions on that? What Josh is reading, I had invited the town manager to our meeting and he couldn't make it tonight. So I sent him a list of questions and concerns for updates. So that's what Josh is reading because it was completed like shortly before the meeting. So Josh will fill in the town manager answers.
Fred, I just point of order clarification.
Sure.
So if the negotiations are finished, then, or can you explain again why the CPC chair and the open space chair would be there? I missed that point. Or when?
Oh, if Jason needs input. So right now, Jason's just waiting to hear back from Hanson's Farm attorney. And then if he needs any input on what they come back with, then we'll convene with the town manager, Jason, CPC chair, and open space chair.
Thank you very much. I do see Janet hand is up. Gina, would you entertain the public comment?
Sure. Janet?
Hi, Janet Hanson,
Hi.
Pleasant Street. I just had quickly asked David before the meeting as to what was, because I didn't know if you'd be asking me because I'm the only one on. He said that the engineer was supposed to have sent to the farm attorney yesterday, and hopefully he got it by today, the site, I'm going to say site plan, but maybe that's not the right word, but you know, the plan as far as what it would be if it was developed. Maybe that's the way I want to say it. I'm using the wrong word, but so once he gets it, he will be, David says, contacting the town attorney. So, so that was completed, and they were told that the engineer is sending it electronically, you know, however, to their attorney, which should have been done yesterday, if not today. So that's as far as he knows right now. Once our attorney has it, then they'll be communicating together, the two attorneys. That's all I
Great.
know.
Thank you, Janet, for that update.
Thank you.
It's very, very valuable.
Okay, thank you.
Any comments from CPC members on that? Okay, hearing none. We'll move on to project updates, Styles and Hart improvements. The town manager at the town council meeting last night provided an update and saying the project should be done, I believe, in 4 months. So we're looking at, if this is May, hopefully by September, it'll be done. And hopefully completed, so that I'd like to see a grand, I don't know if you have grand openings for trails, but something to show off the work that's been done. Questions on Styles and Hart?
Gene, I have a few. It's Pat.
Sure, Pat.
And I apologize. I don't have my video on. I have kids running around behind me. So, I see the work being done there, and I wasn't on the CPC, or I wasn't there when the initial. Well, I think I was, but the initial appropriation for that was something around 1.3 million, correct?
Correct.
And out of that 1.3, we were expecting somewhere between 400 and 500 back from a grant from the state. Is that correct?
Correct.
But I spoke to Carlton today because I didn't know how the current contractor got the job. Did I miss it? Did we ever see the winning bid for that project? And do we know exactly what that amount was? And I'm hearing different numbers, and if the numbers I'm hearing are accurate, it seems like we'll be getting a lot more money back than we thought from that project. Is that true?
I myself haven't seen a bid. Carlton. Josh?
I haven't seen the bid, but we did receive an invoice today, and I believe that invoice has a total dollar amount that the contractor was awarded, asked for. And I think that number, Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's like the project came in at $795,000.
Is that the total? Is that a piece of it, or is that the total that we appropriated the 1.3 for?
That is what the contractor, if I'm correct, that's what the contractor that's currently working proposed as a price.
Right, but is the scope of work that
The scope of work is based on an engineering diagram. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Is the scope of work that he bid on the scope of work we voted on?
We voted, as far as I know, we simply voted $1.3 million for the Styles and Hart project. That enabled the town to apply for a grant, of which is round numbers 490,000, something like that. The scope specifications were developed by an engineering firm that we paid. The CPC has put some of the $1.3 million was put towards that engineering. We've signed off on a number of invoices. The final scope and details were put out to bid, and the contractor bid on those specific scopes. And I don't have those in front of me, but that invoice we got today had a pretty complete detailing of what the scopes were. There are the parking lots in there. There are clearing the trails with debris. There are a number of bridges that will go over the wetlands parts of there. And
do we have so Josh, do you know if that's accurate, that it's around 800,000?
I can pull up the invoice. Give me just a moment here.
Hey, and I think.
Well, so a bid went out and a contract was awarded, right?
Correct. Before the bid was done, we had to pay engineering costs so that we would know what was being bid. Meaning.
Right. So I understand the engineering is part of the 1.3.
Right.
And I understand this, probably other costs part of the 1.3. But hearing the numbers, I kind of got excited today, thinking that, hey, if it's 800,000 to do all the work and whatever it was for engineering, and we're getting 500 back. I mean, we from the state, instead of getting, we might be getting quite a bit more back in addition to that grant.
Correct.
Well, didn't we have a separate allocation for an additional parking lot where the large sign was, the billboard sign, that was,
They're both being constructed right now.
Well,
Right, but that was a separate CPA award. The 1.3 was for site improvements.
yeah,
The one you're talking, Bill, where the billboard was next to the
Yeah.
Chinese restaurant, we funded,
that was 300 and something, wasn't
right,
that was 330,000.
340,000.
That was 330.
Well,
Right.
I think it'd be nice to get like a projection, a current projection out from the town. So that we know if there are other projects coming up a year from now, we can anticipate that X amount will be coming back or won't be used.
Okay, Josh, can you put together, I'll request from Michael too, and from Laurie, everything that's been paid, but can you put together what you have on that, what we
Well,
submitted
and
for
the
payments?
reason I think that's important is that if we're looking at big projects like conservation restrictions on Hanson's Farm and things like that, and we're not factoring in that, hey, you know, we're underbid by 400,000 or 300,000, it's 1,000 hat, in addition to the 490 we're getting back from the state. I mean, that's 700, 800,000 dollars potentially that we could keep in a column as expected money back.
I
Right,
think that's a good
So
idea.
far,
Thank- yeah.
it looks like out of the 1.3 million that we paid this year alone, we probably paid close to 800,000 last
Mm.
fiscal year. And
Right
this
now,
year-
the budget, the CPA budget for Stiles and Hart currently has $1,275,000 and 99 dollars. Now, we do have an invoice that was a little over 82,000 that came in today, so that number is going to begin to go down. But it shouldn't be going down more than the $795,000 contract unless there are major change orders that have to come through.
Right. Pat, I think you made a good point that we got our actual accounting of everything that's been paid for that and proposed. What's
Well,
proposed that we still owe.
I mean, the application was just an estimate, right? So they estimated they needed 1.3 million. Sometimes projects are underfunded, sometimes projects are overfunded.
Mhm.
Hopefully we overfunded this project and there's money coming back. It'd be nice if the town kept us in the loop and said, hey, you know, the bid we put out that we expected to come in at $1 million came in at 800, or just so that we can better understand the accounting and we know what to expect for money going out and we know what might be coming back in. I mean, that's a sizable project that could impact other projects later on. And from what I'm hearing now, and I don't know if it's true or not, it appears that we might be on the right side of this, not the wrong side. So it'd be nice to keep track of that potential money.
When will
Great.
the applications for this grant be awarded? Is there a date for the award announcements?
It has been awarded. It has been
The grant
awarded.
was awarded, right?
It was awarded. It was awarded.
Oh, good.
It is a reimbursable grant, so that the town has to pay for the work, and then whatever the grant is for, the scope of the grant, then the town applies to get reimbursed for it. But the town will have to pay up front. That's why 1.3 million. But
Right, right.
at the end of the day, we get money back.
Right, we're hoping for, the grant was to reimburse up to 50%. What we're awarded wasn't 50%, it was less, it was 480,000. My mathematical brain isn't figuring what that is, but it's less than 50%. It was 40, I believe 40-something%.
Is there a timetable that we have to abide by in terms of the grant?
Give us the amount of money, the 1.3 million that we put up for the project against all the invoices that have come in, and then have another column that's what's reimbursable. So we have a better feel for what we may have available next year. I think it's a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Good. And I will make that request to the finance director. uh, For all the accounting for that project. And Josh, if you can fill in too, like,
Well,
already,
I think two things. We need, accounting is one thing, right? But I think we also need to know what we may not have paid for yet, but what the bids came in at. And does that cover the entire scope or not? You know, what are we anticipating for a surplus or a deficit, I guess is what we're looking for, based on the numbers that came in.
okay. So we want to know what the bid actually covered. Um, I'd like to see maybe a copy of the bid.
Well, Gina, is there a project budget that they have? I mean, they must have a budget for engineering, for construction, for, you know,
That detail is in the invoice that we received today.
and does it show actuals versus?
Yes,
It does?
yes. They bid certain things. For example,
Do
what I
we-
looked at
did I-
today very
did
quickly.
did I miss something? Do we have a copy of that?
No, we don't. It just came in this afternoon. Okay, for CPC approval. But I will, as an example, there are a number of benches that will be put in the park. There is a line item there that shows how many benches, what the cost is and what the total cost, and that's part of what we're paying for. They're already paying for that. So I think, to be honest with you, I think that we probably should take that piece of the invoice and at least share it with the committee.
Okay, Josh, can you,
I don't know
just-
what the procurement rules are. I don't know if that's totally legitimate, but I think the committee needs to know that.
I think it's public record, isn't it? Wouldn't it be?
I assume so.
So
Okay,
you just wanted the invoice put up on the screen?
yes, please.
Okay.
I just pulled it up, but I'm not good at sharing
Give
screens.
me just a moment. I was trying to get it prepared, and it was just giving me some trouble because of how it was scanned in.
Yeah, if it's
Yeah.
actually sideways,
Yeah, I was trying to rotate it, but I couldn't get it to.
we can
Let's
stand,
see.
we can stand on our heads and,
This
but
way.
Pat, at the top of that is Josh is pulling it up. It says it's sideways. Payment certification is for work completed through May 14th. The original contract sum is $795,023. No change orders. Completed and stored to date. I don't really know what stored to date means. Was 86,000. I think it means already paid.
Yeah. That's the invoice amount, 82 plus.
Right, but altogether, it says item number 4, total completed and stored to date.
So go down one layer there, Josh, if you could. There's a table right just about there. Okay. Can you make it slightly bigger?
How's that?
So basically, if you look at the left-hand column, there's an item number, there's a footbridge construction, footbridge end ramp construction. So it's very detailed. There's a bid quantity, 280 feet, that looks like 120 feet. And then it says the unit price is $750. That if you continue over that invoice, there's the number of units complete. And so basically, if you go down one more to the A4A, clearing and grubbing, that has to do with the parking lots. There is a bid quantity, 420 square yards, the amount per unit, and that calculates out to be $4,200. And the amount, the quantity is 4,200, and the amount of is $20,202, and the quantity, and so now the invoice is asking, because they've completed the grubbing, is for 20,000. So if you look at those columns as you go down, you'll see the activities that have been in place are the removal of topsoil, gravel fill for north parking area gravel base, parking area reclaimed asphalt. There's all of those line items are in there. and the total amount of money. So I think that's the detail you guys are looking for.
I think
Uh,
if I'm hearing Pat right, and Pat, you can correct me. I think what Pat's looking for is what was included in the total bid, not just this one invoice.
That is the total bid.
Well, it'd be nice to know what we estimated. We estimated the total project to be 1.3 million.
Correct.
And then there would, I imagine there's different categories. There's an engineering category, there's a management category, and there's a construction category. So
Mhm.
what, of that 1.3 million, how much of it was construction and what did the actual bid come in at?
Okay. I'll get that information. We'll have it for the next meeting. I'll request that. Good points.
And
Any
I've heard different numbers. I heard it went out to bid. I heard it was, the low bid was 800, the high bid was 2 million. We appropriated 1.3. So, I mean, so it'd be nice to know what's actually going on and what actually was expected and what came in.
That's what, hold on one sec. Sorry about that. That's what I had heard for bid prices too. They're 800,000. The other one was close to a couple million. And they went with the 800,000 one. But I will get that, request that information. We'll have it for the next meeting. And if anybody thinks of anything else that they like included in my request for information, just shoot me a message. Okay. Any other discussion? Okay. Hemlock Drive window replacement. I spoke with someone from the Housing Authority today. They had signed the award letter, but just never returned it to us. So they did that today. They sent it along. They're in the design stage and that should be done soon. Then they'll start their window replacements. So they're excited to get that going.
So Gina,
Sure, Pat, go ahead.
I thought that they had found another funding source through the state for the windows, and then we're gonna reapply for this money for different projects.
They were at one point, then they decided to the funding source that they thought would pay for the windows wouldn't pay for what their project entailed. So they went back to requesting just a window replacement from us. And for their door replacement, they were going to work on somehow getting that funded. But they found out the source of funding that they thought would pay for the windows other than CPA funds wouldn't cover the project like what they wanted proposed for it, what they wanted for the project.
Gina, is it correct to say it's back to the original scope that was
Yes.
proposed?
Mhm, correct. It is. They had talked about changing it, but then went back to the original. Okay, questions, discussion on Hemlock Drive? Okay, Parthenon Freeze. As you know, we're waiting for construction to make sure the walls were strong enough to support the freeze. I did write to the town manager today with questions. And Josh, you're on. You're up.
Okay, so the DPW is handling the work to reinforce the wall structure. This will not happen quickly, given the work required and the nature of the public building. The freezes are currently in storage off-site to protect them from damage. Once the walls are reinforced, the freezes can be hung likely sometime this summer. And we did just from our meeting with me, you, Carlton, and Lori, we just relayed that we'd like that you guys would like the I completely forgot the name of the
Clark,
restoration company.
Clark Fine Arts.
Yep, Clark's to hang it.
Right, good. Okay,
So I believe also I had reached out to DPW for you on your behalf and CC'd you, and Azu had responded that they're going to get some things together to respond with.
I had sent a message to Azu and I have not heard back from him.
Okay.
I.
Did you CC me on that, Carlton?
I thought I had, yes, but
Okay. If you want to forward it to me just to be on this, I haven't seen anything. But best thing you can do is keep me in the loop on that.
I'll do that after the meeting.
So just so I'm clear, these are interior walls, correct?
correct.
And the DPW is gonna reinforce the interior walls?
Yep.
No, they're overseeing the project. I'm assuming they have a contract coming in to do that. Is that
Yep.
correct, Josh? I know
Yeah.
they talked to an engineering firm. They've got a plan.
Do we still have a facilities director or no? Or maintenance director?
Company,
We do.
body, person, whatever, under contract and do the work.
So DPW is handling the work, but we're gonna sub it out. Do we have a scope of work yet?
Well, facilities is under DPW now.
And I believe there is a scope of work, yes.
What budget is the cost of this coming from?
Right.
I've asked that without an answer.
Because we will have to have another
Right.
allocation if there's a request, it'll have to be a separate request.
My thought is the town should pay it, but that's just my thought. The town is paying the storage because Clark, we couldn't expect them to store these 3 big things forever. So they sent them off to a storage facility, and the town manager has agreed to pick up the tab for the storage.
Right.
So right now, we have the proposal that was given to us had $4,400 for the installation. So that money has not been achieved yet, but who pays for the actual construction? That's a big question now.
Right, I've asked
And I
that,
don't believe we can pay for that as a CPC.
right. I agree. So it looks to me like the town will have to pay that for the construction of it, for the contractor to do the work. I believe they paid to have a consultant in to see what needed to be done to the walls. And the town picked up that charge. We haven't paid that. Correct, Josh?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay, so hopefully those will be up in the summer. We hope. Any further discussion on the freeze? Okay, Summer Street,
So
Oh,
you're
go
saying,
ahead, Pat.
hopefully it'll be up in the summer. Josh, is there a timeline to get this done? I mean, is it the engineer, is it simply just getting somebody to do it, putting it out to bid, or do we have to have documents drawn up and structural engineering done, or is that all done?
Well, I don't know that, I think I don't think the cost means it has to go out to bid. It's just getting the work, getting us queued up for the work, and then also depending on how extensive the work is going to be, just finding a good time during the summer where we're not super busy is another big part.
Josh, could I request that you have the town manager specifically send us a project plan for going from this point? The engineering's done. Let's get a project plan from the town manager, please, to have a schedule. Let's get a real schedule. We've been dealing with this for 7 months or 8 months without real information. So I was the liaison to that. I will not be around this summer, as many of you know. I'd like to see the committee have a schedule, a firm, complete schedule and an installation date.
Yeah, and we can definitely get that set up. But
And if I
rather
have
than
to
go
make
through
a
the
motion, if I have to do a motion for that, I will.
Well, I would say let's just get everything organized with Azu and DPW. Because I mean, they're going to have, they're going to be the ones that are working on, getting the contractor set up and assessing it versus Michael. So I think us opening up that communication with the zoo is probably the biggest part.
So my request is no later than the June CPC meeting, we will have a concrete schedule for installation of those frees. That's my request.
Okay. Yeah, let's get that in. Let's get that into an email from the
Mhm.
CPC officers, and then again, make sure to CC me, and I'll keep following up on it.
Thank you.
Okay, so Carlton, you just said a concrete plan for construction and installation by the June meeting.
Correct. And I
Okay.
do see a public hand up. I don't know if you want to entertain that.
Okay, Donna?
Hi, thank you, Donna Jewell, 50 Keith Place. I just wanted to echo what Carlton said. I've been part of the Townhouse Committee for over 2.5 years, and the freezes came out beautiful. I mean, they're incredible work. I don't know if everybody has seen them, but they were completed last September. And on October 4th, we were informed that a structural engineer was going to be wrapping up their work so that we could get these installed. I'm concerned that the longer they sit, even in the storage, that I'd hate to see anything happen to them. So I just came on to really request that we try to expedite this and get a complete timing and action calendar to get them out of storage and installed. They're gorgeous and they deserve to be displayed, and the money that's already been spent on them, thanks to your group, has been very much appreciated, and they should be put in place. That's all.
Good, thank you, Donna. Any questions or comments, further discussion on the freezes? Okay, Summer Street Mobile Station Project. There, as you know, there's a survey out there for uses of the property. I believe it ends June 1st. Am I right for that? June 1st. So if you haven't taken the survey yet, take it. If you don't have the link, I believe it's on the town webpage.
Yep.
So that will
Has
be
the-
helpful too.
Has the deed restriction been filed yet? It's required by CPA that we always have a.
I have an answer.
open space.
I've got the list of answers here.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yep. So the restriction will be finalized once the project is substantially complete.
That is not what we've been told in the past.
And it
Needs
says the
to
park
be before
designation
the
will
project
serve.
is complete.
Yeah, and it
Has
says that
nothing
park
to
does.
do with it has nothing to do with the construction or redo of that. It is a deed restriction that you cannot use it except for open space. There's
And
no
then,
reason.
Then there's another comment that the park designation will serve as the deed restriction.
That's. So that is the law from the state that if you get a park designation, it's automatically deed restricted.
I think that
Um,
was our question, Carlton, from Michael
Well-
had mentioned that one other time.
I just want to make sure the CPA requirements are met by a deed restriction. That's a requirement by law. That CPA money, it's used for open space, that's open space would be deed restricted. So if that meets it, fine, but I'd like to see that actually in writing.
I'll definitely make note of that.
Thank you.
Okay, good, thank you.
Well, I'm
Um,
actually on the town website right now because I have not done the survey yet. And I can't find it. Where would that be?
It's on the town manager's website.
On his page.
So under government, town manager, Summer Street Park video. So there's a video that accompanies it.
So just out of curiosity, if we're trying to get people to do the survey.
Mhm.
Do we expect people to go looking for it in the town managers? I mean, if it's.
No, it's
if
been
right-
advertised on social media and everything.
Right,
But
but the
I'm saying-
people,
But I'm saying, we want people to take the survey. and they log into BridgewaterMA.org, why don't we have like a news flash, like the, hey, there's a survey for the mobile station, click here. I mean,
Mhm.
since, you know, I don't, are people really gonna dig in and go into the town manager's page and do that?
I agree, and I mean, I couldn't even find the town charter last year. I had to call a counselor and say, where the heck do I find this? But I
But I
agree.
think, I think if we're encouraging a survey, we want the most feedback possible. We
Mhm.
should draw attention to it and have a link, you know, flashing or, you know how we have news flash if a water line breaks or something like that? We should have something like that right on here. Hey, take
Mhm.
the mobile station survey. And click
Good
here.
ideas. Josh, can
Yeah.
you? You
I can
sample?
ask, but so I believe we reserve the news flash for like water main breaks or emergencies
Right, and
or
I'm not saying it has to be that, but it could be in, you know, bold and yellow on the front of the, you know, just something, if we want people to take a survey, I don't know how many people are gonna cruise around on the website and say, oh, why don't I check the town manager's page to see if there's the survey there? I, I'm on this committee and I didn't even know it was there, so maybe I'm not paying attention, but just if you want people to do things, the easier you make it for them, I think the better.
Well, the easiest way to do this would be to do an email blast to the citizens of Bridgewater with the survey attached and ask that it be taken and returned. I mean, that's what businesses do all the time. And hospitals and all these organizations that are looking for donations and feedback and so forth.
Bill, this is an online survey. It's not a paper survey. It's an online survey.
Oh, well, they're always online, but it can be done through an email blast.
I hear you.
Do we have email blasts through the town? The only thing I get from them, I do get the emergency things like for water main breaks and all that. But as far as emails, and I might just not be remembering right, seems to me the only ones I get are my tax bills and things like that. Things I need to pay.
yeah, I don't think we have you know, like a list of emails to send those kind of notices out. I know that you can sign up for on the calendar to get notifications when meetings are being posted and things like that. You have to specifically go in for that. I don't think we have like a newsletter sign up or anything like that right now. I mean, I
Right.
can check with IT and I
Okay.
can see if we can get, you know, a banner or something. I know they just get a little bit iffy on adding too
I think
much
the
to.
request from this committee, if I could interpret it for you, is get it on the front page of the town website. Make it
Okay.
visible.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you guys want to send that to me, I'll try to work with IT to see if we can get something for the last week here.
Okay, great. I'll send something off to you.
This will show up in the minutes, of course.
Yep.
I was wondering, is it shareable off of the town manager website? Like, could I share it with a Facebook group?
Yes.
Yep. There's links and everything on the website. If you go to the YouTube, like I said, anytime you click on the survey link, so if there were just if you just wanted to post the survey link, you'll have your own unique survey link every time you click on it.
Okay. And we all have our own like Facebook groups for our like respected committees and commissions and stuff, right?
Mhm.
That might be a good way to reach people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we,
some of the committees do. What we try to do is get it on the general Facebook. That's that we have the most success with as far as getting it out. Because what tends to happen is you know, some of the private groups or the groups that aren't part of the town of Bridgewater, they'll just share directly from our public Facebook. So that tends to work the best for us.
okay. Jeff, that's a good point. We do have a CPC Facebook page. And every once in a while I get how many new people have liked the page. That's a good idea. I'll put that on.
Yeah, and
And,
Gina, if you control that Facebook page, and you want to go to our Facebook page, you can share anything that we post. So that's a good way
Okay.
to get that interaction.
Okay, good idea, Jeff, and everyone else who just contributed to that discussion. Okay, anything else for the mobile station? Okay, hearing none. Broad Street properties, we just need, and that's for Styles and Hart too, but it's separate from what we talked about for the 1.3 million. That's for the two pieces of property next to the Chinese restaurant. That's been paid. And we just need a final report from Josh and we can
Yep.
close out
And a deed restriction.
the deed.
Yep.
restriction.
Michael commented on that. He said that he's working with Wildlands Trust to incorporate this property into the overall park restriction.
Okay, good. Thank you. Any other discussion on the Broad Street properties? Okay. Rebinding of the records book, the death records book from, I believe, 1894. That we approved it, we recommended at our April meeting. I have to stop and figure out what month we're in. And the town council did their first reading last night.
And they sent it to
So-
committee. They sent it to
And
committee.
they sent it to committee. Right. And that should be an easy one to get the new counselors to get their feet wet in a CPC project before we do anything a lot more complicated and in depth. Project updates, completed project, townhouse and Old State Farm trails. We're just waiting for final reports from Josh, then we can close those out.
I got an update from Michael on the townhouse as well. The preservation restriction has been filed with the Registry of Deeds, and we're just awaiting the final invoices from Joe Booth's firm.
Great, thank you. Glad you have that because I couldn't remember what I wrote to him. Okay, anything on those two projects? Okay, administrative account for the carryover from FY23 for recognition plaques and signage. Carlton, you're up.
Yes, I've been working with the Bridgewater Trophy. I think I have proofs for 7 to 8 plaques. We've made a decision to have two types of plaques. One would be outdoors, 3-dimensional type plaques with this recognizing the CPA funds. And the other one is a etched type plaque that would be inside the building. I talked with John yesterday, the day before, and he's just about ready to finalize the ones we've requested. And hopefully I'll get an invoice from him so we can get it into this fiscal year and we won't have to carry the money further. But since I will be away, Gina's in the loop on that. But I basically approved all the proofs, and he just needs to get the final cost to me. He was waiting for how much it would cost to ship things, I think, yesterday. So hopefully before Friday at noon, I'll see something.
Are we going to have a chance to look at the various prototypes?
I could show you some tonight. They're very simple plaques. A couple of them are 12-inch square. They have language that I can send out to share, but it says basically funded by Community Preservation Act funds and the year of the project. These are all town projects. I haven't done anything with non-town projects. But the language is very simple. The cleaner it is in terms of language, number of words, that kind of thing, the more effective it is. I don't know if you were on the last meeting, but we did get permission to use the town seal
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
You gave your approval to start the documentation of who can use the town seal. That's all official now that we can use the town seal on those kinds of plaques for us.
Right. I remember that. But I was just wondering what the design looked like and what they're going to be made of. Will they look very plasticky or what will
Oh, no,
they?
they're metal. They're metal.
Okay.
They're metal and they're etched. So, I'm not sure if it's aluminum or what, but they're definitely high quality. I'll send some pictures out to people tonight.
Okay. Thanks.
Good, thank you. Other questions, discussion? Okay. Hearing none, the annual public hearing and the 5-year plan, as you know, that we've contracted with J.M. Golson to prepare the 5-year plan. Where Carlton and I talked with Jennifer Golson last week, I think, maybe the week before, just for a preliminary talk, but she's coming to our June meeting, and that will be the official kickoff of the project. At that point, I believe, will give, probably not with specific dates, but a plan of what she's proposing as far as public meetings to get input from different town committees, different town, like Bob Rowley is the Director of Community and Economic Development, the town manager, different town employees, and plus just boards, committees, commissions, and the meetings that she'll have, including all of those, plus the general public for their input. And those meetings should be done over the summer, and we're looking at a final report sometime in the fall. So that's it for that. We're combining, because we're held to do our annual public hearing. We had voted back a number of months to combine the two of them. So that's what we're doing. Any questions or comments, discussion on the 5-year plan? Okay, encourage everybody when they have the meetings, when Jennifer holds the meetings, to participate and to get friends, neighbors, family, your respective committees that you represent, to try to get them to attend the meetings. Input is invaluable for these things. Next, we've been working with Josh to post a lot of our, I was going to say stuff, but stuff doesn't sound good. A lot of our documents and such on the CPC webpage. He's been working on that. And he's going to give a quick little demonstration tonight on how to find things.
Okay, let me get the screen up here. And I do just want to preface this by saying that adding these documents, it is a little bit of an undertaking. Because on the back end, I have to go in and essentially organize a whole back end folder. So I've been kind of plugging away at it when I can. I haven't got all the documents on, but what I did was I did get the structure set up so that we could just kind of review it real quick, and then I'll keep adding things to catch up and get everything posted correctly. But I think based on the discussion we had a few weeks ago, I think I have just about everything we had kind of touched on. So there's no big changes to the introduction to the CPC. I did there are some files missing here because we've moved those down to some tabs on the bottom. But I did go ahead and I created a table for the members of the CPC just to make it a little bit easier on the eyes and just kind of help classify as far as like appointment where the members being appointed from and the status of the members. So that was, I don't know that we discussed that change, but it was something I kind of added last minute. So I just want to get your guys' thoughts on that. I hope this a little bit easier than the.
I like it a lot.
I do too. I do too. And that was one of the things that was mentioned at the council meeting last night for the reorganization of the subcommittees of the council, that it should be out there in public who's on what committee. And
Okay.
I think this goes along with it.
Okay,
Now,
great. Yeah.
I have a quick question. It
Mhm.
looks like most of us are 2025 or 2026. Jeff is 2024. Who reappoints him? Is it the town manager? Is it the historical commission?
So
Should it-
that unfortunately, I think we kind of touched on that. That's a symptom of how these appointments come to be. So unfortunately, all of your guys's or a lot of your guys' appointment term ends line up. So
And
it's
I just say, I'm the only one as the citizen that's appointed by the town manager. Everybody else
Yep.
is appointed by their committee.
Okay,
yeah, so their term end actually aligns with their the term end date of their committee that they're on.
oh, okay, appointment to their respective committees. Got it.
And I know that, and I was gonna kind of ask on that because it can be a little confusing. And maybe there's better wording for it rather than term end. But that's something we can always change in the future if it is confusing for people that are interested in joining the CPC or anything like that.
Okay, so should I write to David Moore as the chair of the historical commission and just let him know that we're looking for a reappointment of Jeff, and hopefully Jeff wants to come back with us?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Okay. Okay, I will do that.
Yeah, I'd be happy to if you have me.
Okay. We want you. We want you. We value your input. Just to let you know on this, the Stacy Driscoll has not been to a meeting since last fall, and I reached out a few times to her and to the Housing Authority. They're going to reach out to her again. I spoke with the Housing Authority today, and possibly replace her, because we need as many members as we can attending meetings, to make sure we meet quorum and to get input from everyone.
It's going to be particularly critical because one of the elements, as you all know, is affordable housing that CPA can provide funding towards. And we need the housing authority on this board and other people that are involved with housing to balance out the board.
Yeah, good, thank you. The Affordable Housing Trust, the bottom one that says a vacancy. We don't have, the town doesn't have a functioning affordable housing trust right now. So we've asked in the past if that can be turned into another at-large member, if there's no plans to make the Affordable Housing Trust up and running viable committee.
And
I
for
do
the
know that
record,
that's in the works.
and for the
Okay.
record, that is a town council admin code change. So the town
Mhm.
council has to go through that process.
Right, good, thank you. Okay, Josh, back to your thing that we interrupted on.
I did have a member from the public that raised their hand.
Oh,
Um,
okay,
Hi, Donna Jewel again. I think that's a great update. Only thing I would suggest is maybe a way to contact the committee members with maybe at least the chair, because I have found that with other committees, when you want to reach them and they're not a town employee, it's very difficult to find a way to do that.
And
Okay, good.
thanks, Donna. That's and I think maybe what I could do is, because I am the liaison for the boards, commissions, and committees, maybe putting my email up there is best practice, just
Yeah.
because our volunteers do use, a lot of them use their personal emails. So
Yeah.
rather than get their personal emails on the public website like that, probably a little bit more streamlined to get it through me as well.
Right.
Yeah,
So
no,
I
it's
will,
just anyway, for the public to be able to communicate with the boards and commissions. Thank you.
Right.
Yep.
Josh, don't we have a community preservation email?
we do. We have that as well, so we can get that up, and then there's also a committee's email. So having all three up, I'll see it 3 times.
Okay, good. 3 times is better than no times.
Yep. So I will make note of that. That's a good point.
Okay.
So then moving on to the tabs that we were working on. So right now we have the 4 tabs that we discussed: administrative expenditures, the CPA projects tab, the CPC annual public hearing tab, and then the annual CPC budget. So right now I didn't have anything to add under the expenditures, just because I haven't added any files. So that's a work in progress. But the CPC project or CPA projects, this is how the outline is going to look. Again, the reason why that everything hasn't been added yet is because, just to give you guys an idea, I've had to go, everything was under one folder, and now I have to go through, because of how this links, I have to go through and create subfolders within that folder and then move all those documents over one by one. So essentially on the back end, I'm going to have an applications folder, the recommendation folder, a final project folder, all that, which at the end of the day, it's going to be great, because if we need to get a document pulled, it's very easy to go in that specific folder and find it, rather than skimming through everything that's been added over the last 5 years. So that's just the work in progress, but this is kind of the outline that we had discussed and the structure of it.
That's great,
No,
Josh.
I like the structure a lot. That's well done, I think. It's clear and logical.
Mhm.
And the
Yeah,
only thing I did
that's
add
good.
was and we can remove that, but I just added complete to help kind of just
Yep.
label the different projects. I didn't know if that
Yep, no, I think
that's
that's good
informative.
to show what's complete or what's still in process. That's good. Very good, Josh. Great work.
And Josh, the policies and procedures documents up at the top of this page, right?
Yep.
Because I have recommended to several people who asked me questions about CPC. I said, go to the policies and procedures document.
Yeah, and it's right here. And that's something we can work on too, is just how we want to present these, maybe because these are kind of the most important documents that the CPAC has to offer. So we can work on getting those a little bit more front and center, a little bit easier to read, things like that. But I didn't want to take on too much at once. So
the reports are most important at the moment, as long as those things are up there.
Yep. So then the annual hearing. So we have that. I did have a recording of the hearing. I'm still trying to figure out how I can get that as a hyperlink using this format of the website. It's unfortunately, because of how this refers to links, it won't let me hyperlink to the YouTube. So I might just have to go in and manually just add the link. But I'm looking for a little bit of a neater option. So that's why that's missing the recording right now.
Good.
And then we have the annual budget.
Good.
And everything that's on there right now that is underlined, I don't know if it'll download the budget, for instance. I don't know if my screen share will take us, but so everything that's linked there is actually a working link, and they will, as I add them, they will be working links.
That's great. I think it's wonderful, Josh. I thank you for all your hard work and working in programming myself. I know it's not an easy task at times. So I do commend you for that.
Yeah, and it's just it'll always be a work in progress. So if anybody has a better idea or thinks that we might be able to add something else, then always send me a request and we'll see what we can do.
Great. Any questions, comments, discussions on Josh's presentation?
Thank you.
Okay, yes, thank you very much. Okay, new business. As we know, Carlton's going to be unavailable for a good part of the summer. And he and I have our CPC officers meeting monthly with the town manager to discuss updates, projects, anything upcoming, anything we need to know about, updates for current projects. And what I would like to request is for a CPC member, because I think it's good for two of us to go and not just one person to the meeting. I'd like to request a CPC member to volunteer to attend the monthly meetings. It's one meeting a month. It's usually the week before our meeting. Sometimes it's a little before that, depending Michael's schedule. It lasts anywhere from an hour and a half. So that's once a month. So I'm just looking for someone to replace Carlton for a few months. I know it's big shoes to replace, but
I'll fill it. If nobody else wants to, I'll do it. I'd like to do it.
okay.
But if there's somebody else that wants to do it, we can discuss it, so.
Okay, is anybody else interested? Okay, can we have, do we need a motion for that? Or, I don't know.
I don't think so. I think you've
No.
asked for it and you'll
Okay.
communicate with Patrick.
Good. Pat, thank you so much for stepping up, and I'll ask to Dawn and Josh to put you on, or I guess it's Josh that sets it up, to put you on the list too. Okay.
They might
Thank
cancel.
you.
Don't you gonna?
What was that, Pat?
So they might cancel the meetings now.
No, not at all. No. We just thought it's good to have a second person go to the meeting. Just in case one of us, forgets something or thinks of something that the other one hasn't. So thanks again for stepping up. The next thing, and Karen has nicely been listening to us the whole time. Karen, is it Urbeck?
Yes.
Your
Correct.
pronunciation. She's the new archivist for the library.
Mhm.
It came to our attention that there's a book out there, Samuel Edson book. He was, as probably a lot of you know, Edson was a big name in Bridgewater, in East Bridgewater, back in the, I don't know, 1800s, 1900s. So somebody had written to Marilee Hunt about this book. It was actually an Edson that wrote to her that a antique collector had the book and had sent it to information to this Edson, who in turn said it wasn't his family, sent it off to information to Marilee. What we've referred it to Jed Phillips of the library, who has referred it to Karen, and to reach out to the folks that are selling this book. So Karen can give a brief history of what she learned. Carlton, did you have pictures?
I can, if I can share my screen, I do have the images that we were sent. We were sent 14 or 15 images.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
going to share my screen
Okay.
here. And I'm going to show you. Is it big enough that you can see it? That's, I can't see.
You need to click on the image.
Okay, so this is the book. Okay.
Can you click on Carlton, the image?
I'm clicking on it. I don't know what, is it moving?
Nope.
Try
Thank
double
you.
clicking on it.
Yeah, double click and it should pop up.
I'm seeing it on my screen. I just,
So, Carlton, stop
Yes.
sharing.
stop sharing.
Yep.
All right, my apologies. I'm not good at this stuff.
Okay, well, you're getting
Sharing,
that set.
Stop sharing.
Yep. Now
Karen, right
share
here.
and choose the enlarged picture.
Share my screen again.
And yeah, and choose the enlarged picture, not the file folder.
Oh. Oh. Let me see if I can get to Edson. I know it's here. Come on. My eyes don't work very well.
Well, Carlton's doing that. Maybe Karen can give us a little background of what she's
Sure.
learned.
Sure. So the book, from what we understand, it is the Acts and Laws and the Charter from the late 1600s, early 1700s. And this version was printed in 1726. From the pages that I was able to see, it's hard to tell the exact condition, but I could see where someone had handwritten in the dates 1735 and 1737, which is consistent with the third Samuel Edson being the owner of this book, because he was appointed coroner for Bridgewater in 1733. The information that we've been told is that this was his book, and that as coroner, in the back pages, he would write notes about some of the inquests that he would hold. And it includes information about deaths, not only of English colonists, but also from some indigenous peoples as well. So that makes it actually a massively important record, because there are not a lot of records of indigenous people from this time period.
Can I interrupt? Can you see, is my screen now sharing?
I can see the thumbnails on your folder page.
Okay, I don't know. I apologize.
Okay, if we increase that on our screens, it's bigger, so we can't see all the detail, but we can see the.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not working. It's my bad.
Nope.
Because
That's
I had the book all the way up, but it's just not working.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
let's just, as Karen was saying, it actually has, and can I just say one thing here, and then I'm going to shut up. The front page has in it, it says, the charter granted by Their Majesty King William and
Mhm.
Queen Mary to the inhabitants of the province of the Massachusetts Bay in New England. This is a copy, apparently, of potentially the original Mass Bay Charter.
Mhm.
And it's in a little bit rough shape, but I'll leave it at that. And the rest of the documents that I'm going to stop sharing. The rest of the documents are various pages. I think some of the pages are a little bit hard to see and that kind of thing. But I'm going to let Karen take over now, because I'm excited by this book.
Mhm. Yes, this is an amazing offer that we're being presented with. This is, you're right, Carl, the charter was signed in 1691. This is a printed version from 1726. So it would have been, I'm sure, multiple copies distributed. I don't know how many copies. I did find the University of Michigan on their Digital Commons. They have an Acts and Laws that's also published by Green and Elliott, which this one is, that's about 160 pages long. So we didn't get a description of how many pages for this one, or at least I didn't see it. But we can guess that it's probably about that long. Let me think. So the question that I had been asked was what it might cost to conserve, to purchase and then to conserve. The dealer is offering it at, I think, $5,500.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a little comparison shopping. Also from 1726 online today, I found a first edition of Robinson Crusoe going for just over $4,000. So that would have been many more copies and much more distributed, so less valuable. This one,
That's apples and oranges, though. You can't compare Robinson Crusoe to this. That's apples and oranges.
no,
would
for
seem.
sure, but I was just looking for something from about that time period.
Well.
And this one is much more valuable with the marginalia, of course, all the notes that are in it. So I'm not a rare books dealer, but slightly over $5,000 doesn't sound off the wall. I did find like a Cotton Mather from 1702 for 15,000. So, the prices can vary significantly. I can say a bit more about the conservation. We know already that the front cover is completely removed from the binding. We recently had 2 of the town's books conserved about a year and a half ago. One of them was 190 pages. We had it cleaned and conserved and digitized. That cost $9,530. And then we had another book that was only 88 pages. But it had some mold, and so that one was $4,578. So if it doesn't have mold or other problems, and I can say that from the images, the pages look wavy, so I'm guessing there's at least some water damage. But I also don't know what they can do about that without completely debinding it, which I don't think they would do. If it's in the neighborhood of 160 pages, we're probably closer to the 10,000 number to conserve it. But again, that's something that if we were to decide to purchase it, then we could have a conservator evaluate it, and then they would give an estimate and that. But I'm guessing we would be about in that neighborhood.
So, should we think about the way the CPC works is we make a recommendation to the town council and they appropriate the money. Does it make sense to both purchase the book and get conservation estimates in advance so we have a single project with 2 elements, buy and then conserve? What's your advice?
Well, the dealer that we've been working with is in Manchester, so he's not that far. I'm presuming the book is also in Manchester. A conservator, a paper or a book conservator is going to want to see the item. I don't know that these photographs would allow them to give an analysis or an estimate, or at least it would be like a ballpark estimate. So I mean, I do think that we would want to conserve this. It's certainly would be a good idea to look at it, because it wouldn't surprise me if we chose to purchase it, it would not even come to us directly. It would go to the conservator first, and the conservator would take care of it before we would even get it.
If there is a way to, and it might influence the CPC or the town council's decision, and I know you've given estimates for preserving. But I think if there's a way for the conservator, I think you called it, for them to look at it before it comes to us with a proposal. To
hire a conservator to evaluate it before we decide to purchase?
Yeah, just a thought. And the committee can weigh in on this. My thought is, I think it's a great book, but if it's going to cost 20,000 which is probably way out of the ballpark for judging on the estimates that you said, or what you said we've paid, the library has paid in the past, it might influence the purchase. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we've got a lot more research we have to do here
Right.
before we make an informed decision. I mean, we need to check the National Union catalog, the pre 1956 imprints, to find out how many copies were published in the, was it 1725? Is that what you said?
26.
26. We need to find out how many were published. We could check with Abe Books.
Mhm.
I know a lot about books. I have a really good friend who worked in books and manuscript at Sotheby's for 26 years, and she would give an assessment of the book probably. And I do know how expensive conservation is. I just spent $3,000 having a lithograph conserved and
Mhm.
cleaned up with some foxing on it, and that was just 24 by 18 lithograph.
Mhm.
It's very expensive work. I mean, it does sound like a very interesting book, though.
Mhm.
But
Can
we
I
need
add
to
something?
we need to find out what others have gone for in the past. These records, are very meticulously kept. Auction records, if you have access to them, as a book collector, for example, you can find out exactly what they were sold for.
Mhm.
So
I
let me
asked
add-
for the provenance information, and apologies, I have my windows open and someone with the motorcycle's going by. Sorry about that. I did ask for provenance information. I was told that it was purchased from Bob Seymour of Colebrook Book Barn in Connecticut, who is a pretty well-known book dealer who recently passed away, and that he had purchased it from a Connecticut home. I don't have a name, or I don't have anything beyond that.
Right.
I would like to have more information than that.
That's a good start. Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Bob Seymour kept good records, or whatever information he would have had.
But a book auction, you're like Potter and Potter in Chicago. That's
Mhm.
a big book auction house that I've dealt with. They could tell us, if you call them up, they would give you some information on comparable prices
Mhm.
for and there are others in Boston as well. Skinner's might be able to help you. Any of those auction houses that deal with books, they have in-house book experts at these big auction houses, at
Oh, cool.
Bonham's, at Doyle's, at Swan, Christie's, Sotheby's. They all have a team of book experts, and they're very forthcoming in providing information, particularly if they think you're going to get if you're going to consign something.
could I add something that I
Yeah.
don't think we said?
Mhm.
The book was prepared by who was the coroner in Bridgewater. He recorded lots of the deaths, etc., cause, etc. That's in the book. It's not just the charter. It includes history of deaths and cause, to include several Native Americans.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds
I think this is
fascinating.
much more than just the
And
publication.
to me,
I think
it's
it's
great to
worth.
have the charter piece, but the hand. Go ahead.
No, I think we're agreeing, Carlton. This is a very notable publication from a very early time on its own. But what's of particular interest to us is that it was the book that was used by someone who is from an early Bridgewater family who held an important position in the Bridgewater government and had a lot to say about day-to-day events within the town at that time. We don't have a lot of records that survived from the 1720s and 30s, just because of time. And so to have additional contextual information about inquests would have only been done for unusual deaths. And then, of course, the indigenous people's history aspect is just enormous. So, I mean, it does.
How long is the inquest section? How many pages is that, as
He didn't say.
opposed to
He didn't
the
say.
other
I don't know.
document? Uh-huh.
Yeah, he gave us, like I say, he gave us some photos, but he didn't give us a page count. He didn't, I don't even have And again, I received the emails and then some of them I had not received, but then they came later, so I may have missed one. So please correct me if anyone knows more, but like I haven't even seen a measurement of the book so that we can even estimate and say, oh, it's 1 inch thick, it's 5 inches thick. Like I don't even know that. And that's where I'm saying I found the one on the University of Michigan website. Theirs was 160 pages.
So
I
the
found
inquest
another-
information is probably handwritten, right? And
Oh,
added
absolutely. Yes,
possibly.
these were his personal notes as coroner
Uh-huh.
that he used the extra pages in this book to write in.
I just looked at the picture that shows the binding part of the book.
Mhm.
And I would say it's something on the order of 3/4 to an inch thick.
Okay.
And I would also say, the pages are rough, like you said, so I don't know if that contributes to the thickness, but it's a pretty substantial book.
It is, yeah. Yeah,
So-
so I think that we would
I
definitely.
would
be
like to
homogeneous.
Any questions for Karen?
So
Okay.
I think Bill Smith could, and where'd he go?
I'm here.
I know. I'm looking for Jeff. I think the two historic committees in town could actually help us a little bit with figuring out how to get a deeper assessment on this. But I also will say we have administrative funds from FY24. If we need to have someone take a look at the book or give us an opinion on it, we could potentially fund that through administrative funds, as long as we make it happen before the end of June.
Or at least contract with someone. We can get a quote from someone to look at it, a
Well,
conservator.
what I was going to say is the book that we're having conserved now that the town council's looking to appropriate, that's a company, I believe it's out of New Jersey. And apparently some of the folks that are here locally in New England aren't working on this. But this company, I know I saw one email that said that they are looking to become more involved with New England in terms of conservation of old books and stuff. So that's another company to talk with. They seem pretty good. And they have all the digitization, the preservation, the book that they're going to conserve. I believe they talked about putting it in separate, each page in a separate sheet, kind of thing. So there's a lot of things I don't know about, but I think we could potentially fund somebody through the admin account to get us the due diligence on this.
I mean, there's also the option of purchasing the book and then not conserving it right away. It does seem to be, I mean, if it's in stable condition, we do have, I mean, the history room is climate controlled. And so if it's stable, it should remain stable. So we don't necessarily even have to do any conservation work immediately. There was one question, I forget if Jed asked me if it was in one of the emails about whether we would digitize it or not. I would always recommend that we digitize it. There is a slight risk to a book or to a document when it's digitized, but there's risk to any item or object when it's removed from its, when it's handled at all. And so by digitizing something, you make it so that it can be more widely distributed and most people can access it without having to actually touch the original item. And it actually, and sometimes it's even more helpful because you can really zoom in or you can change the contrast on something and see the image in a different way. And so whenever we would come to a point of conserving it, I would always recommend digitizing it at the same time.
Karen, can I ask that you get an estimate for conservator? We know what the book would cost if we bought it. As Carlton said, we do have administrative funds left this year. The contract for our 5-year plan consultant, the bid actually came in less than what we anticipated. So we do have some funds. If you could get that information back to us before our June meeting, it's something that if we decide to go with a conservator, we can vote at that meeting.
Okay,
If not, possibly put together an application just to buy the book if the thought is to buy the book now and conserve it later.
Gina, I'm actually going to suggest that we need an application in front of us. We know it's eligible, so we can forego the eligibility piece. My suggestion is that we get an application in front of us so the committee can vote next June to, in fact, recommend it to the town council. That gets into, probably becomes fiscal year 25 funding, to be honest with you, because we're at the end of the fiscal year. But so my question is to the committee opinion on whether or not I'm thinking just get the book in-house, get it into climate controlled room at the library, and then we'll figure out the conservation doing the correct thing. That's my suggestion right now. But I'm just one person.
I'm of
Okay.
like minds. I think I like that idea. It sounds like an exciting piece of history, and I'd really like to see it here.
Thanks, Jeff. It does. I was excited when Marilee first passed on the information to me.
So we can also write our own application as CPC to acquire it. But we could also ask the Karen to put together a quick application for the purchase for $5,500. I don't want to quibble with it. I think we might want to get an estimate. Is it really worth that? But that would be part of the application. But we only have a month, one more meeting for the committee to actually act on it.
Right.
Has anybody actually seen the book?
I haven't put my eyes on it. No, I have the images that I will share with somebody. You know, there's 14 images that I wish I could have shared.
Yeah, I saw those. I mean, I would feel better if maybe, sorry, I've forgotten your name, the archivist.
Karen.
If Karen could take a look at this book. I mean, we are in a way buying a pig and a poke. Of course, when you buy books online, you're also buying a pig and a poke. But I mean, I would like to know, for example, how many pages of annotations are there? How long is the official document, and how are those pages attached? And you know, are there 50 pages, 10 pages? I would just like to know more about the book. I think it's an important book from what I've heard, and Bridgewater does seem to be the logical place for it to be. And this is a reputable book dealer, you say, right? Or antiquarian?
As far as we know.
Yeah.
Well, the original book dealer, Bob Seymour, was very well known. The person we've been dealing with is Richard Thorner, and he was elected to the American Antiquarian Society in 2023. So I don't know how large his practice is, but he's certainly known in the community.
He has a website, I'm sure.
Not that I was able to find, no.
Whoa.
No, but I tried to do my due diligence here. I did find a Richard Thorner in Manchester, who is a lawyer who specializes in probate, trusts, art, and antiques law. I'm guessing that's the same person. So he has a background in antiquities, and then also, you know, had the American Antiquarian Society as well.
Yeah.
Okay, is it possible, Karen, for you to make a trip up to Manchester
I mean,
at some point to
guess,
see the
yeah.
book?
We have
mean, I
funds that
could-
we can cover the cost for gas and all that kind of stuff through admin fund. This is due diligence, and the admin account covers all of that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
maybe
I
the
mean, I'm
town will
happy
have
to reach
authority
out.
to do this.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to reach out to him and get some of those other details like page count and things like that. And I'm happy to go up and meet him, or meet him I don't know if I want to meet him halfway, keep the book where it's safe. But yeah, no, I'm happy to go up to Manchester. Sure. It's not that
Okay, can we, first I want to ask comments or discussion from other CPC members? If any? Uh, If none,
I was just gonna also say that it's probably a great idea for somebody to go up and take a look and make sure this, what they are proposing is what you'd get. And, I think it's a very wise thing to do, whoever needs to go up there.
Mhm.
And it does sound like an interesting book to have.
good, thank you. Let's see, Pat, any comments, any discussion?
I listened to everything, kind of neutral on it, so, I mean, continue down the path we're going, I think it's fine.
Okay, good. I'm not sure if the library would cover the expense of going to New Hampshire. If not, as Carlton said, we can pay it from administrative funds, but we'd have to have a motion tonight. Because-
I'm prepared to make a motion.
Okay,
I
I
second.
move,
we don't know
Okay.
what the motion is yet, Bill.
Oh, I thought it was to fund the trip. Sorry.
yes, it's gonna be to that. I move that the CPC use administrative funds to support Karen to go view the book and give us a written assessment of its content, its paging, its condition, anything that's relevant to conservation, etc. And bring it back for the CPC meeting a month from now.
And could she take pictures also?
Yes.
Mhm.
And that's my motion, is that we authorize Karen to represent CPC in assessment of this book and fund any expenses that she may incur.
Mhm.
I second that.
Okay, discussion. I think it's a good idea. I think we need, it sounds like a great book. I think we need more information on it. And this will allow her to go up to research it. Karen, if you need something for Jed to authorize you to leave your post in the library, just let us know.
Okay.
And we'll send him a copy of this motion too. But I think it's important because maybe the book isn't worth $5,500. Maybe it's, I mean, historically, it sounds great, but looking at the pictures, it didn't look that well. It looked great, but the information, but I think it's something we need to research more.
You mean it looked like a 300-year-old book?
Yeah. Yeah, when
Yep.
I'm 300 years old, I hope I look that good. Okay, any other discussion? Do we want to put a dollar amount on that or just fund the?
Not to exceed $2,000.
Are we gonna have that much in our?
Have a nice lunch.
Yeah, real good lunch. Okay, with no more discussion, Josh, roll call.
Gina,
Yes,
Carlton,
Yes.
Pat,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes,
Bill,
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
great. Thank
Thank you
you,
very much.
everybody.
And
Thank
now
you,
that it's
Karen,
done,
for the
actually getting this
presentation.
done this year, next fiscal year, we've got admin funds. So we can do whatever we need to do after the assessment. And if it's the next fiscal year, that's fine.
Mhm.
When
Great.
is the June meeting?
So,
It is June 26th,
26 June, okay.
same time,
will-
same place.
Okay, fine.
I will not
Okay.
be able to attend the meeting. I'll be in North Carolina. I'm sorry.
okay, if
On 2
anybody,
weeks.
And I may be able to zoom in, but I'm not sure.
okay, if anybody finds that they can't, I know those with younger kids, it's probably the last week of school. So it might be a busy time for that too.
And just
Things
remember,
are-
we're going to try to kick off the 5-year
Correct.
5-year plan
Correct.
project.
So if you can make the meeting, I'd ask for every effort to, and I know you all do. You make every effort every month to be here, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it more than you know. As I said before, everybody's input is invaluable. And I think we have a good committee. So, okay, moving on. Anything else? Any other new business? Okay, hearing none. Committee liaison reports. I have nothing for Parks and Rec. Bill, Historic District.
Yes, we've had 2 meetings this month, or will have had 2 meetings. We have a meeting on the 29th. 3 applications for certificates of appropriateness, 2 dealing with signage in the district, and a 3rd one dealing with the installation of solar panels on a building in the district. So we've been busy dealing with some sensitive issues.
Mm-hmm.
Our
That's-
meeting is 7:30
that's
Wednesday the 29th.
Yep, that's interesting. The solar panels in the district.
Yeah.
Bill, can I ask a quick question?
Yep.
So I recently, just on the planning board, I was asked to look at a project that may be happening around Central Square.
Uh-huh.
Where is it's too bad on the town website and the historic commission, historic district commission, there's no map of the district.
There's no map of the district.
Where can I locate I found the bylaws, I searched the website. Where
It's
can I-
probably not on the website. I mean, basically it consists of the properties that adjoin the common, but there is a map. The town clerk probably has a copy of it, and certainly the library does. I don't know where the official map would be. I'm sure that it's in the town clerk's office. There's no doubt about that, because all that the town clerk is the official depositor of all records related to the HDC. So when the HDC was established in the mid-80s, all those founding documents were stored there. So, but there should be a map of the district on the website. I'll see if I can get located and get it up there. If Josh, our faithful webmaster, can help us.
Josh, could you send me a map of the district? Could you see if Michael Dutton has it or?
I can check to see if Michael has it. If it's something that the town clerk has, we can see if we can request it and then get it added.
Yeah, the town clerk definitely
Bill,
has
Bill,
it.
I was just asked to sit in on a meeting that the property doesn't abut Central Square, but its address is Central Square. And it's set behind one of the existing buildings. So I said to the applicant, I said, you might want to make sure before you redevelop anything in here, if it's in the historic district or not.
Yeah, I could tell you if you told me the name of what the property is, but you may not want to do that. We can do that officially at another time, maybe. Discuss whether that property is in the district, because I know all the properties that are in the district.
And we can do it's not a public project yet, so I don't want to
Yeah, okay. You
say
can,
anything I shouldn't say. So
yeah, you can send me an email if you would
I
like.
was just trying to find the map. I mean, I think the map should be accessible to people too,
It should be. It should be.
especially with the new zoning downtown. It's like if we need to know who we should send to, So,
Right, right.
Thank you.
Mhm. Good. Thank you both. Maureen, open space.
Nothing new to report. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Jeff, Historical District, Historical.
Not a whole lot to report. I wasn't able to attend last night's meeting. But I was able to do the first part of our demolition delay hearing back on the 14th for 96 Main Street, the big yellow house. Apparently it's two local guys who are trying to develop apartments on that property. And I know David's trying to schedule a walkthrough for us pretty soon. That's about it. That's all. Then I had to leave that meeting too.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's see, who else do we have? Pat, Planning Board?
No, I mean, we're gonna start to have some of these projects downtown come before us, and I just think it's important that we, have the information we need. So if we can get that, and I know it's not this committee, but it was an opportunity to ask Bill about the map. So if we get those maps up on the website for everybody, as far as developers are concerned and applicants, et cetera, I think that'd be helpful.
Okay, great. Thank you. I think I got
That's all I
everybody.
have.
Okay, thanks. Okay, I got just making sure I got reports from everybody. Okay, upcoming events, Memorial Day, the next Monday. It's not a CPC thing, but I encourage people to participate, go to the different cemetery taps and laying of the wreath in the parade. And as we said, our June meeting will be the kickoff for our 5-year plan, and registration is open for, I mentioned last month that the CPA Coalition has a boot camp training that's very beneficial. Registration is open if anybody's interested. It's a Zoom training, and I believe in the past when I've done it, it's been like an hour. It's not a lot of time. So I encourage people to look into that. So I have for upcoming events. If anybody has anything else to add for that, jump right in. Okay, public comment. Okay, I think we still have a couple public here. Okay, and we still have a quorum. Okay. Janet, go ahead.
Hi, Janet Hanson,
Hi.
Pleasant Street. I just want to tell Josh how good a job. I like the table, what he did for the website. If they all could do that, and the town could do that, it would be very nice. He has it laid out pretty good. It is hard to find things, and you can't expect even myself, to be digging. While we were watching this, digging for that survey, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. No one's going to be able to do this. So if they want a survey, they should put it right on the front page. But that has nothing to do with you guys. But I just wanted to, say how much the website looks from what he showed. And I was going to say somebody should go up and see the book, but I see towards the end there, you did say that you're going to, because I don't see how you could really judge it without seeing it in person. And I definitely would like to see a historic district map on the website, because I have a lot of concerns, and especially with the new zoning things, I think that needs to be evident for people. And on the developers on that 96 Main Street, it was mentioned that they're both local guys. Well, they were local guys. One is local now, but the other one doesn't live here. He lives in Georgia. So there's a lot going on that, but I just wanted to.
They were
ahead.
two brothers, right? That grew up in
No.
Bridgewater.
We probably
not-
shouldn't be discussing that.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that, you know, it was mentioned, but anyways, I just wanted to say that I like the website and I think the idea of the book is really good. I just think somebody should go look at it, and you've already decided that. So thank you.
Great, thank you, Janet. Any other public comment? Okay, hearing done. Our next meeting date is June 26th. We're looking into, and Josh, maybe you can help us out with this, where it's a kickoff for our 5-year plan. Possibly having our in-person or a hybrid for that.
Yeah, as discussed, and we have had a couple committees that have done it. Bill's committee actually has done it once.
Mhm.
So if you'd like to do in person, we just ask that you know, there's a quorum of members in person. And that the only people that are attending via Zoom would be in that instance Carlton, if he'd like to make it, or another member. But not inviting guests or anything or public via Zoom. It'd just be in person primarily.
Okay, good. But if we stick to Zoom,
If you stick to Zoom, everybody can come virtual. What we found is that the hybrid setup is it's just very intensive with the resources that we need.
mhm. Thank you. Thoughts from committee members to do the hybrid, as Josh just explained it, or stick with the Zoom?
If you can do a hybrid, whatever it does, I will do my best to attend, even if it's 3 a.m,
Okay,
my time.
you could do,
Yeah, I'll just say the 26th, we had to add a planning board meeting because we have a lot of stuff on. So I think the Wednesday before is Juneteenth. So we couldn't have a meeting. So I will not be here on the 26th because of planning board.
So we're
Okay.
short, we potentially are short 3 people.
okay. So Carlton, that means you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Set your alarm.
Yeah. If anybody else cannot attend, because that still gives us a quorum, let me know. And we may have to reschedule our meeting too for another date. I'll be sure to reach out to me for that. I'm tempted to say, so we could have more people in on the meeting, I'm tempted to stick to Zoom. But
And we can do it, like I said before, we can do it, you know, as we get you more fluid with the process. We can go meeting by meeting and just kind of determine that
Okay.
way, especially while Carlton's out of country.
Yeah.
You may want to move it to the first week in July if you can't get quorum.
okay, sounds good. Okay, if nothing else, I just want to say this has been a great meeting, longer than we've been doing, but very enlightening. And that being said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, who did the second?
you both did.
Okay, I'm sorry, my iPad beeped just as somebody was doing a second. Josh, roll call to adjourn the meeting at 8:29.
Gina,
Yes,
Carlton,
Yo,
Pat,
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved. The meeting's adjourned.
great. Thanks, everybody. Have a great
Bon-
night and a safe.
Bon voyage,
Good night.
Carl. Bon voyage. Have a great
Yeah.
trip.
Good
Yes.
trip.
Hi, everyone.
Yes, great trip.